Hello students, today we are going to learn about the lesson Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. It is from the history part of your course book. The lesson number is 8 and the page number is 34. Before I start with the discussion, I want all of you to go through the lesson so that you are familiar with the lesson and you also have an idea about what I'm going to discuss about in this lesson. In this lesson, we shall be doing a case study based on the record of North Indian state comprising of Bihar, Magadha and Vaji Confederacy and how these units came together for a common cause which affected them. In this chapter, we shall also learn about the meaning of a state, the meaning of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas, what were the cultural, economic, political and social life during this period. Before going further into the lesson, let us go through the new words given on page number 34. And students, I would like to advise you to write down these new words in your note copies as these are important words which will help you in understanding the meaning of the words given in the lesson. The first word is circa, which means in or about, used in indicating dates. Jana, a territorial unit consisting of several villages. Janapada, which means a territorial unit equivalent of the word state, combining several smaller and bigger janas. The next word is Maha, which means bigger or greater. Then we have the word monarchy, which means state ruled by a king. We have the word republic here, which means state in which the supremacy of people is recognized. And the last word given is confederacy, which means a combination of states or units for common cause or action. Students, I shall be discussing the lesson after reading paragraph wise. So the first paragraph given in your textbook is Rise of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. The 16th century BC marked a definite stage in the political history of India. India entered into a stage of Mahajanapadas. Kingdoms and empires emerged in India. There were 16 large territorial areas or Mahajanapadas. The period covered is 500 BC to 200 BC. Meaning of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. Janapadas implied a state or territorial unit formed of several janas. Several villages made a jana. Several Janapadas combined together and constitute a Mahajanapada. Magadha became the most powerful kingdom and empire in course of time. It brought under its control several Mahajanapadas. Out of the 16 Mahajanapadas, Magadha, Koshala, Vatsa and Avantri were very powerful. Vaiji or Vriji was an important confederacy. Students, you might be clear with the suffix BC and AD. If you're not, then I'm going to tell you what is the meaning of BC and AD and why and when do we use this suffix. BC means before Christ. And the dates for BC goes backward, means in decreasing order. So when we say 500 BC to 200 BC, it means that 500 BC is a period earlier than 200 BC. And the practice of writing AD, which means Anno Domino, which is a Latin word, and its meaning is the year of our Christ. But in modern times, we do not write AD. So when we are reading history or any other topic based on history that is being written earlier, the period before Christ, that is the suffix BC, is always written, which help us to understand in which year that thing took place. in history. Okay. In this paragraph, we also come across words like Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. Janapada can be defined as a territorial unit. Jana means people or subject, and pada means food. And several janas or state combines together. When they combine together, they constitute a Mahajanapada. That means that in modern times, jana can be compared to a district, and when several districts comes together, a state is formed. So likewise, when several janas come together, Mahajanapada is formed. To make it more clear, let me cite an example of Assam. Assam is a state or Mahajanapada which is constituted of several districts or Janapadas like Jorhat, Titarbor, Morini. These are all districts which comes under the state of Assam. It was only during the 6th century BC that it marked a definite stage in the political history of India. Before the 6th centuries, the territories of India were Janapadas, which were formed by people gathering together for the purpose of trade and business, which were surrounded by hamlets and villages. Later, as this business grew, the Janapadas became major realms or kingdom of the ancient Vedic India. And like I said, it was from the 6th century only that kingdoms and large empires started to emerge in India. If we read any ancient epic books like Ramayana or Mahabharata or any other ancient books written during the ancient times, we will get reference of many Janapadas of ancient times. It was the kingdom of Magadha which became the most powerful kingdom and empire in India, and during the course of time, it brought under its control several Mahajanapadas. If we go through the ancient texts that were being written in the Vedic times, we come to know that out of the 16 Mahajanapadas which are mentioned, Magadha, Koshala, Vatsa and Avantri were the most powerful Mahajanapadas. Vaiji or Vriji was an important confederacy. Again here, confederacy, we can explain it as a combination or when several states or units comes under one unit in order to fight for a common cause or action. According to the case study, it shows that the state of Bihar had a number of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. The next topic of discussion is sources of information. The later Vedic literature mentions several Janapadas, the Buddhist literature, the great grammarian Panini, the Arthasastra of Kautilya, and works of several Greek writers provide important information about the existence of Janapadas, Mahajanapadas, republics, kingdoms, and empires. In addition to these sources, coins and inscriptions also serve as useful source of information about this era. If you want to know more about the Janapadas or Mahajanapadas, we can always refer to different literatures or texts written during the later Vedic period, like the Buddhist literature, the literature of Panini, who was a great grammarian of ancient India, the book Arthasastra written by Kautilya, and also from the work of several foreign writers like the Greek writers. And this book provides evidence of the existence of Janapadas, Mahajanapadas, republic, kingdoms, and empires. Let me mention here that along with the Janapadas and Mahajanapadas, there were also kingdoms and empire states in which the supremacy of the people were recognized. And this unit which recognized the supremacy of the people are known as republic. Along with the various literature or texts, the coins and inscriptions which were being issued during the ancient times are also useful source of information which give us valuable information about the time. Republics in India. There were big as well as small republics. Among the important republics were Sakyas of Kapilavastu, the second one is Kolyas of Ramagrama, and the third one is Lichavis of Vaishali. So along with the Janapadas and the Mahajanapadas, there also existed numerous big and small republics, and out of them the most important one were the Sakyas of Kapilavastu, Kolyas of Ramagrama, and the third one is Lichavis of Vaishali. Students, before I move further ahead in the lesson discussion, I would advise that you also refer to the map that is given on page number 35, which is figure 8.1, which is the map of indicating ancient India circa, that is around 500 BC. There you will be able to locate the names of the places that we are reading, and you shall learn about the locations. It also indicates in rectangular box the places wherein the battle were fought and the homeland of the famous epic history Kauravas and the Pandavas. The next topic of discussion is important developments and main features of the period. The first one is political condition. There were several types of political units, namely Mahajanapadas, republics, and empires or kingdoms. In due course, Magadha emerged as the strongest empire after defeating several Mahajanapadas. The king was very powerful and almost like a god. He lived in great splendor in large palaces surrounded by his officers and servants. However, he could not do as he pleased. In all matters of state, he was to be guided by the rules prescribed in the religious books. The Pandits or highly educated Brahmins advised him on all matters. Regarding the political condition, there were several types of political units, namely Mahajanapadas, republics, and empires or kingdom. And the four states, that is Magadha, Koshala, Vatsa, and Avantri, these four states or units, they were constantly involved in quarrel, and in course of time, Magadha emerged as the most powerful and acquired mastery in the political domination over the other three states. And this mastery was acquired under the rule of the ruler Bimbisara. Regarding the function of the king as a person, he was the most powerful ruler in the kingdom or empire, and he was treated by the people almost like a god. The king, he lived in beautiful, impressive and great large palaces surrounded by his officials and servants. But however, even though he was the most powerful person in the state or kingdom, he could not do as he pleased, and in all matters in which affected the state, he has to take advice or was guided by the rules prescribed in the religious books. And to help him, the Pandits or highly educated Brahmins advised him on all the matters concerning the state. Next to the king, the highly educated Brahmins or Pandits were held in high respect by the people in ancient times. They were generally classified as priests, mentors or teachers who hold high administrative posts in the kingdom, and they were the closest to guide the king on all the matters regarding the state. The next topic of discussion is the economic condition. Agriculture was the main occupation of the people. Trade and commerce also flourished. The country has brisk trade relations with distant countries, which resulted in the import of huge wealth in India. Trade by sea was also popular. The important ports being Brigu, Kacha, now Broch, and Soparka, now Sopara. Farm produce was also sold by tradesmen. So, the economic condition of the people in the later Vedic period was very good, and the main occupation followed by the people during that time was agriculture. And along with agriculture, trade and commerce was also flourishing, and the country had active and good trade relationship with distant countries, which in turn resulted in bringing about huge wealth in India. Along with the people, as they were trading with other distant country, the trading was done by sea, and it was very popular. The most important port that was being used for trading purpose was Brigu Kacha, which is now named as Broch, and Soparka, which is now known as Sopara. Farm produce was also sold by the tradesmen. Next is coins. In this period, use of coins was common. Coins were usually made of silver and copper. The early coins are known as punch mark coins. The use of coins by the people during the later Vedic period shows that they did not use the barter system, but they used to exchange. They did not exchange, but they used the coin for trading. And the use of coin was common for trading, and the early coins were known as punch marked coins. It was first issued by the Magadha dynasty when it was still a Janavada. These coins were made out of silver and copper, but with an irregular shape. These coins were called punch mark coins because each coins bear symbols, each of which was punched on the coin with a separate punch. The next topic of discussion is the crafts. There was considerable specialization in various crafts. Workers in wood, metal, stone, jewelry, etc. worked in groups known as guilds. So during the later Vedic period, the craft was also given considerable specialization, and workers they were specialized in making crafts out of wood, metal, stone, jewelries, and these people they worked as group known as guilds. Which means the artisans or the merchants who control the practice of their craft in a particular town. Next, we come to the religious conditions. Buddhism and Hinduism prospered side by side. Among the Hindus, the Brahmin enjoyed a very high status. The religious condition of the state of Magadha was also good during the rule of Bimbisara, and it is said that Hinduism and Buddhism also prospered side by side. And among the Hindus, the Brahmins or the priests enjoyed a very high status as they were held in high respect by people, and they acted as a teacher, guide, and mentor to the priest. It is also said that Bimbisara supported all religion by making many services free in his kingdom for the ascetics and monks. He is also said to have constructed many hermitages for them and specially made ferry services free for them. There are also various legends associated with Bimbisara and his association with Gautama Buddha, and it shows that he was open to all religion and he respected all religion in his kingdom. Next, we come to the social condition. The Indian people lead a very simple life at that time. People were liberal and broad-minded. they had high ethical and moral values. People had made great progress in education. Indian society at that time was divided into four major castes determined by their occupation. However, in due course, jati system emerged and gradually it became rigid. So, before the jati system came into being, in the later part of the ancient India, the people lead a very simple life and their thinking were liberal and broad-minded. They also had high ethical and moral values, and because of which people made great progress in education also. But Indian society at that time was divided into four major caste system, which the caste system was based according to the occupation followed by the people. And in due course, the jati system or the caste system made the society very rigid. So students, for today we will stop here with the social conditions. We'll continue with the next session. We'll take up the topic life in the village.